Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now January 1st of 2022, and ever since the very end of The Mandalorian Season 2, The Bad Batch, and of course now the beginning of the Book of Boba Fett, a lot of Star Wars fans are really beginning to get very excited about what George, John, and Dave have to offer for the Mandoverse, as well as the new Star Wars TV shows that are all set to arrive throughout this year into 2023 as well. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, I am on Twitter at Mike01 if you guys want to go ahead and give me a follow on there. I do post a couple of entertaining things from time to time and really make sure to interact with you guys further. So we're now in a very interesting phase of the Star Wars universe, given that we are already within the Book of Boba Fett show. You know, we got 6 more episodes to actually see the true story of Book of Boba Fett, really unravel. And there's a lot of discussions behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm already about making a Book of Boba Fett Season 2 if half of the season, aka, 4 episodes, give or take, is going to be very impressive to the fans or not. It all depends on how the show does, what the fan reception is. I know that on Rotten Tomatoes, last time I checked, I think it was like 2 days ago, it was sitting around 76% on the audience score, so I'm sure that's going to get higher with each and every episode as more and more character development for Book of Boba Fett as a series, and for the character of Boba, really begins to actually rise. So, with that being said, however, we already know that actress Gina Carano, ever since she was fired back in February of 2021, is when a lot of Star Wars fans began to really perceive Lucasfilm as a company in a different way, in a more negative light than ever before, right? We've seen everybody associated with Lucasfilm talking down on Gina Carano, like Freddie Prinze Jr., and other, actors and actresses associated with Star Wars as well. We have seen this time and time again, and though we have John and Dave really pushing for great things, what's even all the more exciting is exactly what's in store for Gina. So with both Disney and Lucasfilm focused on their new Star Wars projects like Star Wars Ahsoka and Kenobi, creators Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are now focused on their new TV shows that are set to be announced at Star Wars Celebration this year. However, it's described that currently John and Dave have recently made a great point in success that has to do with actress Gina Carano getting her role back as Cara Dune. Now further, it's described that recently John and Dave had a meeting before their final one with the higher-ups over at Disney to discuss Gina's return. Initially, Disney only wanted Gina to return as a relative to Cara Dune in The Mandalorian Season 4. However, just some days ago, John and Dave had convinced Disney to turn things around in order to prevent a large backlash from the entire fandom. It was John and Dave who both told Disney as of late that they need Cara Dune to return in Mando Season 4 in order to make Gina's return favored by the fans. John and Dave laid down some examples to the higher-ups about all of this, and they listened and are also now beginning to have a change in heart and are now shifting to allowing Gina Carano to come back as Cara Dune instead of Cara Dune's relative in Mando Season 4 for 2023. Now let me just stop right here for a second, because the fact that in the beginning, I would say about 2 months ago, where they got on this whole train of bringing Gina back as Cara Dune's relative made absolutely no sense to me. It sounded ludicrous to say the least. I don't know why they would even want to do something like that. I mean, it could work, it could not work, it really depends. I mean, I know it's a gray area, it all depends on how they would have handled that, but now things seem to really be turning around for Gina Carano as an actress and for the character of Cara Dune. Now, one thing is for certain is that Disney has already made up their mind that they do not want the merchandise for Cara Dune to go back on store shelves, and we're going to get into that a little bit in just a second. The thing about that, I think, is a lot of fans are going to take that as offensive, and I'm not quite sure if bringing Gina back even for Season 4 is going to satisfy fans then, because it won't really seem as 100% genuine. It'll seem more like damage control, right? But at the end of the day, this is something that John and Dave want for Season 4. This is something that they really want to see again to end the Mandalorian series. Again, they're going to call Season 4 The Mandalorian with a subtitle. It's not going to have, like, the number 4 next to it with the season. It's going to be its own thing, but it will be counted as a 4th season. So, past this, alright, Jon Favreau had already designed a new look for Cara Dune for Rangers before the show was cancelled altogether, but that he also originally gave her a new design for Mando Season 3 before she was fired that he is looking to use for Mando Season 4 in the long run. Now, both John and Dave, as well as Gina, are set to have a gathering and meeting with Disney's higher-ups to discuss all of this further for the last time by the end of the month to finalize the plans. Disney CEO Bob Chapek also engaged in the most recent meeting to ensure that John and Dave could present their reasons as to why Cara Dune's return is a must for Mando Season 4, as it will, of course, escalate to a point in time where their reasons as to why she needs to come back for the last season for now, before they move on to another adventure that expands the Mandoverse. Both Favreau and Filoni are described to be very optimistic about all of this working in their favor. So as Disney already wants Gina to return so that they can regain the lost fans that canceled their Disney Plus due to Gina Carano's poorly handled firing by Kathleen Kennedy, Gina Carano is said to be excited to meet with John and Dave again about all of this and how Disney is having a change in their mind on her return as Cara Dune once again. Now, again, I gotta say this right now, is that when you look at the character of Cara Dune in the very beginning, I will be honest, you know, I never really gave the character a second thought. I never viewed the character as something, you know, over the top or anything like that. But I will say this, and this is the absolute truth. Ever since she was fired, that character really gained popularity by so many, you know, different levels that we would have never even expected. You know, her merchandise went through the roof. It's even worth a lot right now because they were pulled from the shelves, and whoever has them, you know, it is considered a very hot item right now. So if you guys see any kind of merchandise related to Cara Dune, you know, it's very, very limited now, as a lot of people are kind of just keeping that and buying them off websites that sell these things. But overall, I think that John and Dave are on the right path here. They really do know how to negotiate. They know how to lay down their options to Disney and exactly what they need to do to really restore, you know, all of the fans that have a lot of issues, not just with Cara Dune and Gina's firing, but also with what happened with the sequel trilogy movies under Kathleen Kennedy's wing. I mean, I'm going to say this, it's going to take a lot of convincing, it's going to take a lot of hard work and effort and a lot of patience for John and Dave to really get the ball rolling. I've said this time and time again that it's going to take minimum 3 years of successful Star Wars shows consistently, without failure in between, to really prove to the fans that they can do something special on a regular basis without being very inconsistent. If you look at Star Wars in the past by Disney, it was always very inconsistent, right? The Force Awakens was an okay movie, Last Jedi was a big flop, The Rise of Skywalker was basically a motive to kind of make up for the mess that was The Last Jedi, Solo was a box office failure, Rogue One was well received and very well made in my opinion, so it really was like an up and down roller coaster, emotionally speaking. So overall, guys, I would like to hear what you guys have to say about this entire scenario of what's going on between Gina, George, John, Dave, the higher-ups over at Disney, Bob Chapek, and the character of Cara Dune coming back into the Star Wars universe. Would love to hear your take about all of this below in the comments. And I think that overall, we really are on the right path to Star Wars really kind of regaining the magic that it once had before Disney took over Lucasfilm. So that's what they really want to regain. So overall, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.